This is a mock interview conducted by ForumIAS Academy at New Delhi. The interview panel includes eminent academicians, retired bureaucrats, and other luminaries. The objective of the program is to acquaint the candidate with the format and expectations of the personality test conducted by UPSC.
May I come in, sir?
Please come.
Namaskar, sir. Namaskar.
Please come.
Namaskar.
Sit.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Adhikari
Yes, sir.
from Ganjam.
Yes, sir.
First class marks all through school as well as BTech.
Yes.
And after that, you decided to join Maruti Suzuki, right?
After that, I worked at Bosch as design engineer.
All right, we didn't have that here. Okay, for 2 years, you worked in.
Okay.
For 2 years, you worked in Michael Bosch.
Yes, that was then. The name has been changed. It's no more Myco. It's Robert Bosch Business and Engineering Solutions.
Which city were you in?
In Bengaluru, in Retd office.
Then you moved to Suzuki, Maruti Suzuki.
Yes, sir.
And then now you're back. No, then you moved as a teacher
Yes, sir.
in Vedanta Innovation Center in Bangalore itself.
Yeah.
Why did you accept a job which was paying you half the amount of what you got in Maruti?
Basically, it was during the when I decided to leave Maruti for civil services. Then the COVID happened, and as a stopgap arrangement, I had to join Vedanta as such.
But you left Maruti in Delhi, Gurugram.
Gurugram, sir.
And that time in April, it was peak of COVID. So you ran away from COVID.
Not ran away. I faced some financial insecurities because I had thought.
No, was Maruti laying off people?
No. It was purely my choice because I had tendered my resignation on January 16th.
Before
3
the
months
COVID.
before.
Right. Because why did you render it?
Because I wanted to give my full-fledged time to civil services examination.
And you had 4 attempts.
Yes, sir.
So while working, you thought you were not getting enough time.
Yes, sir. That was because it was fully occupied. Even many times I had to go at morning 6 and return at 12 in the night. So I couldn't do justice to my studies.
What division were you in Gurugram?
I was in R&D division. I worked in CNG portfolio.
CNG, the gas.
Yes.
Not satisfying work?
It was completely satisfying. And in fact, I was enjoying the reason for leaving the job was because I was so much engrossed in the work that I didn't get time for my studies as such. Because I used to stretch myself to commit all the works. So I thought I couldn't do justice to both at the same time.
How many plants does Maruti Suzuki have now in India? Plants.
Yes, with respect to the manufacturing plants, the car manufacturing, currently we are having 2. One in Gurgaon, other in Manesar. It is also 2-wheeler vehicle in Manesar also. Later we have also started the battery factory in Gujarat also. So and also we have an R&D facility in Rohtak. That is not at all manufacturing plant. But
Some tea or coffee for you?
No, sir, it's fine.
And what is that plant in Gujarat? No, there is another plant which is only of Suzuki.
Yes, sir. Yes.
So what is the arrangement there?
I am just aware that it is for 2-wheeler. I am not completely aware of all the arrangements.
You have a 4-wheeler plant in Gujarat, which is under the name of Suzuki, where Maruti is not there is no Indian partner. So they sell the cars to you, 4-wheelers, and you make money only in your marketing, not in manufacturing.
Okay.
And that's been going on for last 5 years or so, even while you were working there. So the question is, today you pay royalty for every Maruti Suzuki car which is produced. Certain royalty is payable to Suzuki.
Yes, sir.
In that model, there is no royalty payable, but you sell their cars and you make your commission through selling. So they tell you this is the cost, you put your markup of Maruti Suzuki because they have a production unit but not the selling unit. So that's the difference between the two. Which is better for India, I still don't know. Because in one case you pay the royalty. In the second case you have to buy their cars and sell them. So they can't. They have no selling arrangement. Do you think Maruti Suzuki has been a success in India?
I feel, sir, Maruti Suzuki has been successful in India, seeing the past records, and it is the largest passenger vehicle company in India. However, it is facing a lot of challenges now and then due to the induction of electric vehicles.
But they don't want to make. Maruti Suzuki still doesn't want to make electric vehicles. Why?
Because as per the recent statement from the MD, they are much more concerned that the transition should be smooth. The disruptive technologies should not disrupt the ecosystem. This is what he said. And in fact, they will move into electric vehicles, keeping up the pace with the national progress, because it is not happening very soon that the electric vehicle segment will occupy a major portion of the automotive sector in the coming days. It will take some 10, 30, 20, 30 years maybe.
That long?
Yes.
Now, is it because of affordability? Or is it because of technology?
I feel so both are responsible, because with the affordability is also a very great thing nowadays, because the battery packs are too expensive. And in fact, the recent incidents of getting fire safety thing, it has also come under scandal. So both.
But that is only in two-wheelers. Not in four-wheelers, there will be no fires.
Yes, but as I was talking with some of my colleagues over there, they are saying that Maruti is also re-strategizing itself to different terrains and increasing the strenuous testing of the battery as such, so that such things do not happen in four-wheelers as well.
Yeah, because that's important, because in the two-wheeler industry, they've had a major setback.
Yes, sir.
And two-wheelers were the ones which were growing the fastest.
Yes, sir.
Are you an electrical engineer?
No, sir, I am mechanical engineer.
So, did you have much of a role to play in R&D of Maruti?
Yes, sir, I had, because I was person in charge of many vehicles. We used to say PIC for them, and I was handling the CNG portfolio of.
That's a very Japanese concept, PIC, person in charge of any project. Who is the PIC? It can be low level, it can be senior level, but everything pertaining to that aspect, there is a PIC. So what were you PIC of?
I was PIC of 3 vehicles with all the CNG parts. I have to deal with the design and development thing of all the CNG parts. I have to talk with the suppliers, with the quality persons, and also with the production team also to build the vehicle from the scratch.
Well, one thing we are finding, Mr. Adhikari, that American cars are not succeeding in this market, while cars from Korea and now even China, MG and all that, they are doing wonders. What is the reason? Is US technology of automobile is not that good, or technology of Korea is very superior? What is the reason? Tell us from automobile engineers' perspective.
So I'm not quite sure about all those reasons, but what I can make out of it is the American technologies are quite expensive as such, as compared to the South Korean or the Japanese things. And also the type of, because as I worked in Maruti also, and earlier I was in European company, that is the Bosch also, the type of nitty-gritties that the Japanese go inside the device is quite unparalleled. And I feel that such perfection for details might be having wonders, but I am not aware of the real reason as such.
So, can we assume you are saying that the fine details that Japanese go into, perhaps Americans don't go up to that level?
I feel so in some cases. I'm not sure about all cases, but yes, in some cases.
So you are thinking, or you're telling us that Americans are inferior and Japanese are superior?
Not at all, sir. Not at all, because it is quite well known that the Japanese have a very innate tendency to go into the detailed things, and this is also explained, means displayed in their work culture also. So not at all inferior or superior, but I say the perspective.
But then why Japan is not world power and America is world power?
Sir, in fact, after the destruction suffered in World War II, I feel Japan is progressing at a very huge pace. And in fact, we have to take care of all the things like the nuclear thing. Japan is not at all a nuclear powered nation now. After the
Japan
World
is
War
not even counted, sir. Japan is not even counted when we talk of 5 powers of the world. For example, nobody takes into account on Ukraine what Japan says. Nobody even knows where they are. So, if such a fine detail, such great technological eye they have, so why they are not counted among top world powers? Give us some logical reason.
Sir, I feel with respect to the economic sphere, Japan is having a lot of sway. However, when it comes to the military or the hard power, Japan is not able to do that because of the after the World War II, what has happened, and it has developed itself from the scratch. It was snatched off all the powers after the World War II. So maybe it is developing now. I feel so, sir.
Okay. Right. LIC is coming out with IPO. What do we mean by IPO?
Sir, it is initial public offering. And whenever a company goes to decides to go public, it offers initial public offerings, IPO, for the first set of shareholders.
These days we are listening to a lot about electricity crisis, coal crisis. What is that?
Recently, in the few days back, we are hearing that there are coal crises and even many passenger trains were subverted so that coal trains may be allowed. This is due to the lesser amount of coal that we are producing from the coal mines, and in fact many opine that this is not at all a demand supply crisis, rather than it is a payment crisis, because the discoms are not able to pay to the power generators, and due to which the process is stopped. And also we are having a shortage from the Australia also. The imports of coking coal that we are making from Australia, that has also suffered setbacks.
What is meant from NFT?
Sir, is this with respect to the non-fungible tokens?
Yes, of course. That's what's that?
I'm not sure of the whole thing, but the context I have heard is that nowadays many paintings are being sold as non-fungible tokens. These are like the individualized paintings that one has made, and I don't know much detail about it, but this is...
You come from Odisha?
Yes, sir.
And Odisha, there is a chief minister who has come from dynastic politics, we can say. Biju Patnaik's son. How many years there is as a chief minister?
It's more than 2 decades.
More than a decade. 2004 में आया है सर बता रहे?
I'll go back and read on it, sir.
Okay.
Sure,
Well, so tell me, as a learned person from Odisha, what is his image as a chief minister? Is a good chief minister, bad chief minister? How you treat him? How you rate him?
Sir, the very fact that he has been elected 3 times, twice, despite no anti-incumbency, shows that the public has a very good impression on him. And nowadays, there are a lot of developmental projects.
Can you say dynasty politics is very good? Because 3 times he has been elected?
Not as such, sir, because for the dynasties, the dynasty politicians might get the starting edge, but however, to continue with that, one has to have its own dynamics and capabilities.
Well, suppose you are Prashant Kishore. Suppose you are Prashant Kishore and sir is Sonia Gandhi. Give us 5 important suggestions to restructure Congress party.
Sir, the number one thing that I would suggest maybe is the inter-party democracy that must be there. Democracy inside the party, intra-party democracy, sorry. Inter-party democracy must be there. Number 2, regarding the power sharing between the parties and between the members as per their importance, and the allowing the ground level workers to nurture through upwards must be practiced. Number 3, with respect to the accountancy and the funds part, that must be scrutinized properly. And I feel there is also a need of the ground level workers who needs to be nurtured from the very ground level, so that party ideology is a different thing, but I feel the workers must be aligned to the national interests also, over and above the party things. I feel that feeling must also be there in party, in the ground workers, irrespective of any party. This is all what I feel, sir.
So, Durga Prasad Adhikari ji.
Yes.
You are a mechanical engineer.
Yes.
Can you define stress and strain for me?
Sir, stress is the force per unit area. It is in simple words, it is the resistance to a change. and strain is the amount of deformation that happens when one is subjected to a stress.
And what are the stress and strain definitions for a corporate job? As people say, I'm feeling stressed, I'm feeling strained. So what is that stress and strain?
Sir, I feel when the corporate workers are subjected to long working hours and beyond their comfort zones, many times they feel stressed or bored down to the conditions. This is what they express by stressed and strained, because it is physical and mental exhaustion, both.
Okay. What is Carnot cycle?
I'm not able to recall it properly, but it is the basic cycle of thermodynamics. And no, sir, I cannot recall it properly. All of the details.
What is total quality management?
Sir, total quality management is the umbrella set of things that is done to ensure that the quality is maintained not only at the final product level but also at the raw material level, with respect to the processing, with respect to the product, with respect to the procurement. And in fact, it also includes process quality also, product quality plus process quality also.
Can you think of how total quality management can be applied for improving the service delivery in governance?
Sir, for the service delivery in the governance, the first thing that how we are interacting with the customers. I will go from front end to the back end. From the front end, how we are dealing with the customers. There we can maintain the quality, because quality is the fitness of use. And fitness here also ensures that how we treat our customers, how we treat the persons who comes to us with a grievance. So that is number one. And it also can include the Sevottam model. Sevottam model is also a quality enhancement program. If you go inside, it is also respect to how we are delivering the service. Taking, for example, the PDS thing. We have to ensure that the raw materials that we get, like the grains that we get, they are of optimum quality. The way we store them, that is also of optimum quality. And the way we are supplying it to the customers, that is the citizens, that is also of optimum quality.
You have studied philosophy for your optional.
Yes, sir.
And there have been many vads. In fact, you are also mentioning Advaitvad. There has been Advaitvad, Dvaitvad, Vishishtadvaitvad, and so many others. Can you just help me understand the basic difference between them?
Taking these three, Advait, Dvait and Vishishtadvaitvad.
There were also some others.
Yes, Suddha Advaitvad, Purna Advaitvad by Sri Aurobindo, Anirvachanivad. But these three form the basic, the Advait, Advait and Vishishtadvait. I'll give one analogy, the Dvaitvad says that the Jeev and the Paramatma, that is the Brahman, are different. They say that the wave and the ocean are completely different entity. This is the analogy. Vishishtadvaitvad says that Jeev is the part of the Brahman. In this example analogy, it would be wave is a part of the ocean. And Advait says that Jeev and the Brahma are not at all different. The analogy would go that neither the wave is there nor the ocean is there. What exists is only water. From the water, the wave is a modification and the ocean is also a modification.
Okay. There is also a saying that all Western philosophy is a footnote to Plato.
Yes.
What do you understand by this?
Plato was one of the earliest philosophers of Western thinking, who has provided fodder for all the later philosophers to work on. Because Plato was idealist philosophy, as they say, and this idealist philosophy was later modified by Aristotle, his disciple, and he brought an element of realism. Later on, when in the medieval era, when the Descartes came, Spinoza came, they only took the philosophy of Plato to its logical culmination. The idealism part was taken to rationalism and also to the empiricism by other philosophers.
Okay. Can you tell me what is fiscal deficit?
Fiscal deficit is the difference between the expenditure and the revenue income of the government, not revenue, total income of the government.
Okay, and what is revenue deficit?
It is the difference between the revenue expenditure and the revenue receipt of the government.
Okay, my last question. Life is nothing but an increase in entropy. Give me philosophical explanation and mechanical engineering's explanation.
So the philosophical explanation that I would give is from the very birth, with each day passing, we gain a lot of insights and knowledge. This all knowledge and insights leads us to many distractions as such. And entropy is nothing but the randomness in an object. So because of that, from the very birth, when we are single-pointed focused, now when we go into adulthood and all, we get a lot of distraction and randomness. We venture into new things. I would decipher the philosophical meaning in that way. With respect to mechanical engineering, I would just like to go into the law of thermodynamics, which say that the universe is ever increasing. That is the randomness. The entropy is always positive and it is increasing. So the universe also encompasses life also in it. So as such, life is also increasing in entropy.
Okay, thank you.
So Durga, you have interest in Jagannath cult.
Yes, sir.
What is a cult and how is it different from religion? And why have you called this cult?
Sir, cult is a movement or a thing of fan following in the current terms, if you will say, around some object or a person, something. Jagannath cult, I have mentioned it Jagannath cult because in Odisha, Lord Jagannath is the center of everything. Be it cuisine, be it dance form, be it literature, be it song. Even the Odissi dance is around Jagannath cult. And with respect to religion, religion is a set of ideals. It is a completely different set of ideals that people of one particular sect follow and they give their life onto it to live through thoroughly according to it. So Jagannath cult is much more a part of religion, I would say.
Okay, and you have also mentioned that its impact on cultural syncretism.
Yes, sir.
Now, I do not want to offend anyone, but are all people allowed in the Jagannath temple, in the Puri temple? And what is the restriction and what is your personal opinion on it?
No, sir. Not all people are allowed into it. Only Hindus are allowed as such. This was due to the earlier invasions and all those things that the temple faced in earlier eras and due to the amount of mistrust that they formed. However, they balance it out in the Rath Yatra where everyone is allowed to have a glimpse of the Lord. My personal opinion would be that I feel these things needs to be revisited because at the end Jagannath is not Hindu Nath. When we're saying Jagannath, it encompasses that whole Jagat. He is the Lord of whole Jagat. So maybe we can revisit it, and nowadays there are no security threat as such from other religions as such because we are now up to date in technology and all those things. I feel this should be revisited.
Okay, so again coming to the point, what is the difference between cult and religion?
I feel, sir, cult would be a narrow term. With respect to that, only guides only one aspect of life. Religion would be a much broader term, that aspect that guides the whole, overall, all aspects of life.
Okay, all right. So you worked on CNG engines, right, in Maruti. Now tell me why CNG engines are, it is said to have a shorter life, let's say 5 years, 7 years, and after that some troubles start coming as compared to, let's say, a petrol or diesel engine.
Sir, basically there are two types of CNG vehicles that are used. One is the original company fitted CNG engines. Those don't have any such problem because I worked in it, and this is a major misconception that the people have. However, the retrofitted engines that are fitted later on, they develop such issues because there are many problems. The number one is CNG tank itself is around 50 to 60 kilograms, and the suspension has to be defined in that way, has to be done that way. In the retrofitted engines, they don't take care of the suspension, because of which the vehicle life goes on. Number two, the petrol engines are designed in a particular way, and the CNG fuel has different characteristics. So when we are directly retrofitting CNG into the petrol engine, the engine gets corroded. And in the company engines, there is given a special lubricant and a special coating so that these things don't happen.
Okay, so something with respect to dry fuel and wet fuel also, I think some funda is there, right?
I'm not aware.
Okay, all right. You also read Upanishads.
Yes.
Can you name some Mukhya Upanishads?
Yes, sir. There are 10 Upanishads that are considered Mukhya as per Shankaracharya. Ishavasya Upanishad, Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, Chandogya Upanishad, Kathopanishad, Keno Upanishad, Prashno Upanishad, and we have Taittiriya Upanishad, Mundak Upanishad.
Tell me something about Mundak Upanishad.
Sir, the Satyamev Jayate, it is derived from the Mundak Upanishad, and it is also about the linkage between the Brahman and the Jiva, and it is a part of the Atharva Veda.
What is the difference between Upanishad and Puran?
Sir, Upanishads are the appendages of the Vedas. They are also termed as Vedanta because they are the end of the Vedas. Purans are the mythological things. They are done so that it can be appealing to the local mass. Like we have Vishnu Puran, Shiv Puran, because the colloquial, difficult Sanskrit language was not comprehensible by the local people.
Okay, all right. And what is your opinion on Charvak philosophy?
Sir, Charvak philosophy is also known as materialistic school, and it is also widely said that they propagated materialistic beliefs in the world which might lead to chaos. However, I do feel that they are the balancing part, because if Charvak philosophy would not have been there, then the current spiritual extremism might have led us to religious dogmatism, and we might not have realized the value and the importance of this spiritual, of this material realm also. So I feel it is a balance with of the Indian philosophy.
Okay. Why LIC is coming out with its IPO? LIC?
Sorry, sir, I will go deeper into it. I will go and read.
But you are aware that LIC is coming with its IPO, right?
Yes, sir, I am aware of that.
What is IPO?
Initial public offering, sir.
And what is that?
This is the first set of shareholdings that is provided to the first set of shareholders, the ownership of the companies, and later we have the FPOs, the final public offerings.
And what happens after IPO? What happens to those shares which are sold to the public? Listed on the stock exchange?
I feel confused.
Okay, last question. Why do you think Maruti does not have very good safety norms and adherence to safety standards? Let's say, for example, in comparison with Japanese or the European car makers.
Sir, I feel Maruti follows all the safety standards that are required in this country, because at the end they have to homologate the vehicle. The term they use, homologation. They are passing the homologation. However, they are seen as lesser as compared to the safety standards of other countries. So they are matching with respect to the Indian norms. However, they are lacking with respect to the other countries. And one of the basic reasons that I feel is that they are giving fuel efficiency, the fuel economy. The fuel economy is higher when the weight is lesser. So
you as an engineer, don't you think this philosophy needs to be changed, because lives again are more crucial than few rupees and money?
Definitely, sir. The Maruti is also following, because when I first entered Maruti, they said that safety is our first value. So they said that they are also working on it. However, I feel if the safety standards will be updated in our country, they will definitely go on with it. And I feel they can also do it on their part also. Their suo moto, they can also improve on that also.
What is the safety test called?
That is the crash test, and there are many other tests also.
What is NCAAP?
I'm not able to recall
Okay.
them.
Anyways, thank you.